everyone, I'm Jackie and we are enjoying life's journey while on the path to financial freedom. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to another weekly paycheck to paycheck budget with me video. We're going to be cash flow planning our income for the week of July 19th. So if you're interested in seeing how we do a zero-based budget and how I budget using percents, then let's jump on the Excel sheet. You guys joined me last week. We projected out what the 19th was going to be, so we're going to go ahead and update it based on anything that may have changed, and then we're going to project out the 26th. So if you're not familiar with these videos, basically I have our monthly budget. I share that with you at the beginning of the month or right before the beginning of the month, and then I also do a budget report where I go over at the end of the month what we actually received and spent versus what we thought we were going to have. And then we do every single week. We do every single week because my husband gets paid every single Friday. I'm self-employed, so sometimes I get paid on a Tuesday or Wednesday. Sometimes it's just a certain day of the month. So basically every Friday I go on, and I like to call it Finance Friday for us here, because that's what I'm doing. I'm going on to the bank accounts. I'm seeing, you know, what did we actually have, moving the amounts to different accounts. So we no longer use cash envelopes. Basically, a cash envelope system is if you take cash out of the ATM and you put it into different categories for spending, and it helps kind of curb your spending. So I actually just use it in a more electronic form, which is just having different bank accounts. And so, you know, I have a different video on that if you're interested. But basically, we want to tell every dollar where to go. So that's what we are going to do. So the first thing is on the 19th, my husband's pay was, we are actually right on the money this time. This is exactly what he made, so we projected that out correctly. Myself, it was actually $43.32. I think I originally had 41 and some change, so it was a couple dollars more than I thought, so that's good. So these are black now because that's the actual amount, and then for the 26th, we're going to project out the same for my husband. The overtime, his overtime is time and a half, so I like to keep these separate just to get an idea of what we're getting, what he's making, and that's just the way I can project out, because I know 40 hours a week at $19.75 is the $7.90, and then I know, you know, if we're anticipating that he has 10 hours of overtime at $29 and some change, I know that it comes out to $296.30, and this is before taxes. So it kind of helps me to project that out ahead of time because our income is so irregular. I mean, it changes from month to month, it changes from week to week. So it's really good for us to kind of just project out the best that we can based on the before tax amount. Myself for next week, I'm actually looking at $688.94. So I actually had a bonus come in that I wasn't expecting, so that's awesome sauce. This right here was actually $115.58. So coming on down, we have some things that auto-populate for me. So 8% of my husband's income before taxes goes into his 401k automatically, so it's auto-calculating that here for me. So just double-checking the pay stub for this week, that's what it was, so we're going to make that black. His for next week is here. So if you notice, this one doesn't normally auto-populate for the emergency fund. So basically, whatever is left, our goal is to be paying ourselves first 12.5%. So I have a formula that calculates that for me. I do have this template for sale on Etsy, and I have put together an instructional video so you can see how to change formulas and things for yourself. So definitely go check that out if you're interested in it. So what I'm going to do here, I have a zero-based budgeting attempt also within this category. So 12.5% of this week's income would be $141.20. We know that 8% automatically went into the 401k, so what's left is this $54.30. So that's what we're going to put into the emergency fund. I'm going to make this orange because that's money that we have. It hasn't been transferred over to the emergency fund yet. And then same thing for next week. We have the 8% that will automatically go into the 401k. So what we have left is $149.45. So we're going to go ahead and put that into the emergency fund. Okay, so that's kind of how we're working with these numbers now. So we're going to come on down now to our giving. Our giving, we've set ourselves up, we want to automatically, or we want to be doing 5% for giving. I was basically dividing these in half between the two here. And then so for next week, you can see it automatically did half and half into each one. So I have here gifts. This is our gifts for holidays, birthdays, special occasions, tipping money when we get our hair done, tipping money when we go out to eat, things like that. If we want to buy care packages for anyone, it would come out of that. And then donations, this is for actually donating to charities. And I mentioned this last week that this money this month is actually going to be donated to our daughter's school. So that's kind of what we're doing here. So we have that already there, and we're gonna that one already calculated, so that looks good for next week. Now coming on down, I've done the best to put in the percents up here, kind of based off of what we're seeing on my husband's pay stub. So the only one that seems to be fluctuating is the federal. I haven't pinpointed that one, because if I look here on the first paycheck, it was like 2.92%. The second paycheck was 3.09%. This one, so I just estimated the 3.09, but it actually is less. Play with some numbers here. It was only $12.63. So I'm going to play with this number up here. You guys can kind of see how I'm doing it. I'm going to go back to what we thought was that I'm going to say 2% real quick. And that's still too high. That's pretty crazy. So we're going to say, let's say 1%, and that's a little too low. Okay, so this, I want to kind of get an idea. Like I said, the federal one seems to be changing each paycheck. So because this paycheck I'm estimating to be the same as far as overtime goes, I am going to go ahead and move this over like that, so it calculates that for next week as well. If I come down here, the Arizona, it was that. So this percent seems to be working for me across the board. So that will make future planning a lot easier, because now I locked in that percent. I know what it is. So that's good. Same thing with Medicare, Social Security. Those are all good. So we're going to go ahead and make these black, because these were taken out of my husband's paycheck automatically. Now the reason we keep track of it, one, I want the before tax income, because all of these percents that I have, my necessities, our saving, our fund, I want it to come out of our overall money. I don't want it to come out of our after-tax money, because then we're shortchanging ourselves in different areas. So that's kind of why I'm keeping track of that. Also, what I'm doing is, throughout the year, I can go onto the IRS website, I can use their withholding calculator and make sure that we're on track. One, paying enough taxes, or two, we don't want to be paying way too many taxes when it comes to federal or state, because those are two things that we do have control over. So if we're looking at it and it's saying, hey, we're going to get a big refund, then we want to change our withholdings to make sure we keep more of our paycheck now and that we don't just get a big thing later, because we want our money to start working for us more now. So all of these for next week we're going to leave as is. Now here is something that needs to change. The mortgage, I mentioned this in another video and I totally spaced about it. Our mortgage, the mortgage payment, which is the principal and the interest, is not changing. The part of this, our property tax and our insurance, is changing. So this is going up to actually $1,141 and some change. So that needs to be adjusted. And also, originally I had calculated that 40%, you can see up here, 40% of this paycheck and then 60% of this paycheck will go in there. I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to go ahead and just delete out that formula for right now, and I'm going to put in an actual amount. So let me come down here. So the mortgage, I'm actually going to do $642.81 out of this one. I'm going to make this orange because now we have that money. And then I need to finish out this. So it's actually going to be $1,141.29. So if I subtract out the $642.81 that we'll have out of this paycheck, next week we need $498.48 to finish out our new amount that's owed for that monthly payment. This comes out automatically on the first of the month. So I just make sure that we have it in there on the account. So you'll see we'll have the full month. We'll have the money for our payment by the 26th. We'll have all in there, so that's good. One thing I've added on to next week is personal care, and these are haircuts. I cannot believe summer is almost over. The girls are going to be starting school, so I went ahead and scheduled haircuts for the whole family. So there's 4 of us, so I scheduled all of our haircuts. So that's going to have to come out of next week's paycheck. Household, we did spend, Ricky went to Home Depot and spent this. And then coming down, gas. Now, I mentioned this before as well, that Ricky has a truck now, so he's driving a truck instead of a motorcycle. So we had a feeling that the price, we'd be spending more in gas. So I'm adding another $17.12 to the gas budget this week, but I have a feeling that next week we might have to add a little bit more. We're going to kind of leave it and see what happens. That's kind of craziness. So we're going to come on down here. We're going to go ahead and open these up. This is the girls' chore money. We're going to keep that. That's what they can earn every week. This first week they earned all of that. The second week they did not quite earn everything, but I'm leaving it till the month is over, and then we'll see if they catch up on any of those commission jobs or not. Coming on down, we're actually going to take out this truck loan payment for right now, and we're going to come back to that. Coming down, so we still had the YMCA money and the Netflix money that's due. So we wanted to make those orange because now we have that money available. So the rest of this I'm actually going to put in the eating out budget here. Because the income has increased, what we're doing is our food budget is 10% of our income. So we're doing, we have our grocery budget. So we take whatever 10% would be minus our grocery budget is what our eating out budget is. So let me just see if I can do that math really quick. So we're anticipating our total income to be $6,155.65. So times 10 would be 615 minus our 336 for groceries. So that leaves us with $279.56. Now I mentioned this earlier in the month that we did do 4th of July and my birthday camping. So this we're counting as kind of like the eating out budget because most of this was like food and drinks and stuff for camping. So I'm going to minus the 124.60, so that leaves $154.96, which would technically be our amount. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that out here. So I'm going to subtract the 48.56 from this week. So next week we would be able to add another 106.40 to next week's eating out budget. Now, are we going to spend all of that? Most likely not. So if we don't, whatever we don't spend, we're going to do one of two things. We're either going to, one, put it into the vacation budget because it's part of our fun category, or we're going to use it to help us. We're starting kind of stockpiling some of our personal care and our household items. I want to get a year's supply of some of these items like toilet paper and paper towels and toothpaste. I want to get a year's supply of that. And then some of our food, I want to have like 3 months supply. So if we don't spend all of this in the next 2 weeks, those are the two options: vacation savings or stockpile money. So those are, we're gonna keep that there going. So this I'll make orange because we have that this week. This is for next week. So for this week, like I said, we're not doing any extra debt payoff. Now we come down, we do want to make sure that we are kind of looking at that 10% that I mentioned. So our 10% is 615, and like I mentioned, our fun we want at 10%. So you can see here it would be the 615.57 is what it's calculating. It's negative 71. So let's see. Oh, I have this as the wrong thing here. So it should be 62. Okay, there we go. So I had a calculation that wasn't adding up, so I had to kind of feel for it. So as of right now, we have 523. So minus 523.56. So we'd actually only be putting into savings 9,200, which would equal our 10%. Okay, so somewhere my math was off. I feel like, yeah, see, I'm way off on my math, you guys. I don't know what I was thinking. So, okay, $154.96 would be for eating out. I totally miscalculated somewhere. I'm glad I kind of caught that. So 129.56. So this would only be another $25.40. So that makes a little more sense there. Let me take this off real quick. So we'd actually have, so we have 173. All right, you guys. Thanks for bearing with me. So this is kind of how this process is working, right? So the idea is that, we're having 10% for fun, and that's being split up. So that's what next week's going to look like. So if you look here, for the month, 10% is 615, and then right here, for the month, we will have done the 615, so it's pretty good. It looks like we're actually going to be able to put more into the savings than we originally thought, which is nice. If you see here, our date night, we actually spent less than the 100, so I've already moved over. That was extra. I've already moved this into our vacation fund, so you can kind of see that down here. So that's some changes that I've made since you last saw me. And then going up, basically we have $637.81 left, and we are going to be putting that towards the mortgage. I know I originally said we were going to put it towards the truck, but I'm doing something completely different. I'm counting the mortgage as debt, and for me, the mortgage is our interest rate on the truck is like 1% higher than our interest rate on the mortgage. So if you were going by the interest rate, you would do the truck first. If you were doing by the debt snowball, you would do the truck first because it's the smaller balance. However, we're going to do something completely different, and we're going with the mortgage because, one, it's the largest bill we have, our monthly cash flow bill. It's the largest one we have, and over the length of the loan, we have paid an extra $145 to an extra $200 a month on the mortgage since we started paying it in September. And just by paying maybe an extra $1,500 or so, we have already saved ourselves $10,000 worth of interest. So I'm going to keep plugging away at this mortgage because I did some math and I said if we just had $200 extra to put towards debt, if we put it on the truck, we would only cut off maybe two years worth of the loan, and we would save maybe $3,000. If we were to put it towards the mortgage, we will save $30,000 in that same amount of time. That's huge. So, sorry truck, you're not getting the extra love. It's going into the mortgage. So we should be able to put this, like I said, we should be able to put this into the mortgage. Things could change a little bit next week. We just have to make sure what the income looks like and all of that, but that's what it's looking like. And this is going to be a huge chunk because in the past, like I said, we've only paid maybe an extra, we were paying $180 this year on the mortgage. We had 1 month where I think we paid a $400 extra. So this is going to be our biggest month yet towards tackling that mortgage. And so yeah, that's great. Now I have some math not adding up here, and I got to find out where it's at because it says I have $11.82. Oh, right here I have $11.82. Oh, that's what went here into the vacation. All right, so that's actually right here, that $11, that's what went into the vacation fund. So that's looking good. So I'm just going to double check as I go up, make sure I didn't miss anything that's very important, and we'll see. So the goal is to have our necessities at 60% of our income. If you look at it, we're on track. It's going to be about 62% of our income. That's not bad, considering we added in haircuts, and I had a speeding ticket that class I had to take that are not a normal monthly expense. So that's different. We still have we're still saving to the emergency fund. We're still investing. So things are looking good. So yeah, you'll have to join me next week and see if anything changes a little bit. Stay tuned. I have some updated net worth reports. I think I'm a few months behind on the net worth reports, so I'm going to be updating those with you as well, so we can kind of see what progress have we made on the mortgage and how has financing a truck affected our overall net worth. But as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.